right, Tito Ortiz. Where do I want to start this? This story has so many arms. Let me just start talking. But I might have to back you. I might have to jump from one dimension to the next. But I was a guest on a sports show. And one of the things that they asked me was about Tito's wrestling match coming up with Alberto Del Rio. And they had called it a fight. They said, hey, what do you think about this fight? And I just shared my opinion that I don't think that they're fighting. I think that it's a scripted, performance, wrestling. And they said, well, hey, you caught us off guard with it. They call it a hot take. They go, Chael, that's a hot take. Why do you say that? And I go, well, I said, Alberto Del Rio, who is a legitimate tough guy, by the way, some of you don't know that. He actually is a very legitimately tough guy. But he's only done one MMA fight that I'm aware of. And he did it in Japan, and it was scripted. It was, he wore a luchador mask. It was silly. They say it was Alberto Del Rio. He's never denied that it was Alberto Del Rio. I don't know if it was Alberto Del Rio. He's under a mask. It was silly. It was scripted. It was silly, like a lot of the stuff they were doing in Pride. Pride was notoriously fixed fights. So I brought that. I said, and by the way, they're fighting in Vegas. Tito, not for nothing, has a long career. Tito been doing this for a minute here. I don't think they'd license him. I just don't think you could match a guy up like that with another. I just don't think you could without a lot of background check. Then you've got the age factor of both guys. Got a mismatch in experience. I think they're going out to wrestle. So the promoter of that event, where they're doing this exchange, weighed in on social media. And he said, Chael, I take great offense to this, right? Now, I don't know if he's a worker or not. That's the same thing that Vince McMahon would say, right? You continue the act. You take it all the way to the grave. So I don't really know what's happening, but either way, he's now invoked himself. He shook the wrong tree. You guys can imagine how well that day went for him. But in conjunction when all of this is going on, Tito has decided that he is going to record his own, I call it a 24/7, or I call it a countdown. Now that's obviously a brand term, but the pre-show, the build-up, he's going to do this himself. And in his very first episode, which I painfully sat through for about 8 minutes of a 40-minute episode. But in the very first, Tito explained what he's doing. Hey, listen, been around for a while. Story of my career has been told by other people. I've never liked how the story was told. I want to make sure it's told accurately, so I'm going to tell it. I'm paying for all of these cameras. I'm paying for these microphones. I will pay for the editor. It will be my story, my way. Okay. So that bombs. I'm sure until I just told you guys that that's even out there and is a thing, none of you were aware. It bombed. It tanked. For many reasons, this tanked. But within doing all of that, Tito was doing a video where he was putting the belt on, the former UFC belt. Now, Tito used to do something. At the time that he did it, it was very cool. And he was the only guy that did it, and he's the only guy that I've ever seen do it. And it was a very cool thing, which is Tito used to wear the championship belt backwards. I don't know why he did it that way. I don't know why he didn't wear it like a great big rodeo buckle like other guys. I don't know why he would wear the belt around. This was like around town. Tito would go around town. He'd show up to events that he wasn't fighting. He'd be wearing the belt. But it was kind of cool. He would wear it backwards. Now, the relevance to this, so you would hook it right here, right? Now, most guys that are going to put their belt on wouldn't put the belt on and reach behind their back and hook it. They would hook it like this and then turn it. But Tito, for the sake of the story, used to just hook it in front and leave it and wear it. All right. It looked kind of cool. In fairness, it did look kind of cool. I saw him doing it, thought, I like that. Way back in the day when he was 20 years ago when he was doing it, I thought, I like what he's doing there. Well, as part of this video, it's Tito in a suit, okay, and he's hooking the belt. And he's hooking the belt. And he's hooking it never gets hooked. He just couldn't figure his hand-eye coordinate. I don't know what happened. He could not snap it together. Now, the snapping of that belt, well, you guys have not tried to do such a thing. It's no difference than snapping your pants together. A snap is a snap. He couldn't do it. He never got it done. and he fidgeted with this for a meaningful period of time. By meaningful period of time, I'm not talking about he spent an hour on it. I'm talking he spent 15 seconds on it. But that's a meaningful period of time for a guy not to hook a belt that he's owned for 16 years. So, oh my goodness. So I take the video, I attach my own music to it, and it was something like that Barnum Bailey, like, right? I mean, just condescending as could be. And I put the video out on Instagram, and I tag it, hey, Tito, you've had the belt 16 years. You still don't know how to snap it? ? Something along these lines. Tito contacts Instagram and lets them know that I have stolen his intellectual property. Now, in fairness to Tito, that is true, and that is a violation. That's his video. He owned that video. I know that because I'm one of the 11 people that bothered to watch the video, but I heard him tell the story, and it was his. Now, you could do that on social media. I know you guys are thinking, Chael, you could retweet stuff. You could do this all the time. But what I did is I took it and I added music to it. So now I've changed his piece of art and created something different and put it out. Can't do that. But he ratted me out. He went to Instagram and ratted me out. Now, here's what he doesn't know. When you go to Instagram or one of these big tech companies, you don't actually deal with a person. There's not a person that answers the phone or goes and monitors it. It's all done by a computer. So if you file a complaint, the computer reads this, it spits it out, it takes you at your word, and it sends an automatic message to my account. What Tito doesn't know is they ratted him for ratting me. They straight up tell you @Tito Ortiz has filed a complaint claiming that you took his intellectual property and asking that this be taken down. Okay, fine. And then they tell you, the way we're handling this is we have deleted it. If you'd like to dispute his dispute, let us know. Well, no, Tito told the truth. I took his video, I made him look like a fool, and then I reposted it with funny music. Okay. So once I reveal this now to the audience, of course they go after Tito, You're supposed tough guy, you're such a crybaby, you're all these different things. Tito has a rough day. Tito is one of these guys that's locked onto this social media. I mean, he's reading this and he's worried about it. So he's responding to the responses that are teasing him. And at some point in there, he says to me, "You're welcome." Now, I have a very famous, powerful podcast in this space called You're Welcome. So he was attempting to use a ploy here, use a pun, and throw the term back. I get it. Very simple. The problem is You're Welcome is hyphenated for the two words of you are. You are welcome. Tito types it out, Y-O-U-R, welcome. No big deal. Could happen to anybody, right? Sure. So of course everybody's got to correct him. You know how the grammar police are on social media. So they're correcting him. So instead of Tito letting this slide, which is what he should have done from Jump Street, right? He's got a wrestling match coming up. I'm helping him get the word out. Good, bad, or indifferent, nobody in the world is talking about his wrestling match. He owes me a thank you. Same with his promoter. They owe me a thank you. Instead of doing that, he wants things taken down. He wants less talk. I'm the only one talking about it. The only one. Oh, and by the way, I have the biggest voice in the whole space. If you could pick one person to talk about your topic in this space, you pick me. I did it on my own. They didn't have to send me a bottle of wine like all these other promotions do. They didn't have to send me a gift basket. They didn't have to send me gift cards to my favorite restaurant like everybody else does. You could just tell me thank you. Instead of letting it slide when the grammar police told him it's not Y-O-U-R, you idiot. He then responds, okay, you're right. And then he types it out again. He misspells the correction of the misspelling in the first place with a new incorrection. So, you know how that went for him when the grammar police set in and he's getting his little feelings hurt. He deletes the entire thing. And then he goes back even further where one time he gave me a bump and told me off, right? We're having a little bit of fun here. I took it as a little bit of fun. He deletes that too. The whole thing just out. I don't want in the Chael business anymore. I'm in way too deep. His fans are way too smart. So you guys, well done.
Uncle Chill, Uncle Chill, there's no bad guy like Uncle Chill. He never lost, not even a round, undefeated, undisputed. Oh yeah, here comes the bad guy, yeah, yeah, Uncle Chill.